Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another spectacular director's commentary. I'm sure a lot of you know that I have just released a new animated film recently as of recording this video, Lego SpongeBob Krusty Towers, over on my channel, the newly rebranded Brick Bob Films. It's funny, after 10 plus years of calling the channel Lego SpongeBob, I still catch myself saying it. It always will be Lego SpongeBob in my head, but I'm still getting used to saying Brick Bob Films. Of course, as a lot of you know, Lego SpongeBob was the channel that I started when I was 11 years old, and it became my full-time job by the time I was 13, and it was really my introduction to being a YouTuber. It's been a really long journey, but no matter what I've been going through in life or what other artistic projects I've been working on, Lego SpongeBob, or now Brick Bob Films, has always been a show that I've returned to flex my new animation skills. With all that said, recently I have produced the long-requested Lego SpongeBob Krusty Towers. This animated film has been a huge stepping stone in my career as an animator and YouTuber. Please drop a like down below and be sure to check out my socials. Meanwhile, enjoy the rest of the video. So without further ado, I guess we better watch it.
So I was all ready to drain the fries, but I cooked the fries slightly too long.
SpongeBob?
So here's where the little bizarre twist comes in.
SpongeBob.
They weren't overcooked at all.
SpongeBob!
God, this opening shot is so pretty. Prior to engaging in principal photography for this project was making sure that I had nailed the visual look of the show that I'm trying to go for. If you have seen previous Lego SpongeBob animations, like when I brought the show back in 2019, I did not know anything about color grading or white balance or filters or proper lighting, and the show had a very unusual sepia tone. As a result, it had a really orangey, yellowy look to it. And back then, I just didn't have the eye to say, oh wow, this looks like I'm watching a dystopian zombie apocalypse movie set in Mexico. So already right off the bat, I am so happy with the colors, the backgrounds. I love the green in Squidward's skin is really being pronounced more, as well as SpongeBob's yellow. It's just wonderful. Of course, there's going to be a lot of trial and error, but so far I think that this is a really good start.
Wow. What happened to the Krusty Krab?
Good morning! The Krusty Towers is now open for business.
Okay, so prior to filming this episode, I went to the Lego store at my local mall, and I asked if I could buy like a whole bunch of brown Lego bricks, and they really didn't have anything at all, but they did refer me to Lego's website, so I pretty much went onto lego.com and selected a whole bunch of different colored bricks, and then ordered them in bulk. I ordered like over 100 Lego bricks. But the funny thing is about the brown Lego bricks, which I ordered, was when I selected brown Lego pieces, I was expecting them to be this color. Come on, focus. There you go. All of my life, brown Lego pieces have been this color. And when I got the brown Lego pieces in the mail, they look like this. Look at that. You see these side by side? I don't know about you guys, but this is not what I know brown Lego pieces to me. This is more like a sweet potato color. It pissed me off because I really wanted the brown Lego pieces for the Krusty Towers building to match the Krusty Krab color, but anyway, what can you do? And I will say, from my director's eye, the brown Lego pieces that I ultimately got are brighter and more vibrant looking, which I think suits the style of the show. Whatever.
Until I got the bill, they charged me for everything. $25 for a hamburger.
In case you're all wondering, the gross spit mucus saliva on that Krabby Patty. It's just hair gel. Don't worry about it.
The Krusty Towers was born.
Why would anyone stay in a hotel in Bikini Bottom? It's in the middle of scenic nowhere.
So some of you more observant viewers out there will notice that the character animation, specifically for the dialogue, has changed quite a bit since the last time I recorded LEGO SpongeBob films. A very common problem that I would always have when filming for LEGO SpongeBob is the characters, when they're locked into the LEGO boards, they're either facing directly toward the camera or they're at a complete profile view. When they're fixed into the boards, they're either facing directly here or here. So usually what I have to do is I have to have them at an angle and sort of balance on these pegs like this, and there have been endless amounts of times where I've been filming a dialogue sequence between a whole bunch of characters, and then I knock one of them over, and it's just like dominoes, and I have to set them all up, and it's just so frustrating. So for this episode, I finally just said, screw it, I'm done doing that. I don't care if it shows up on camera. So I started taking wax clay. This is puppet putty, by the way. Take a little ball of it, place it right on the bottom of the feet, and then I'm just able to mash it in, and then it is so much easier to pivot them around, position them, make them express without, it's capturing my face, I'm sorry, without worrying about them falling over. And I will say that as a result, it has made the animation more expressive and less stiff and mechanical looking. Legos are already pretty limited in articulations, so anything to bring out the expression in the characters while they're speaking is a huge bonus.
It's in the middle of scenic nowhere. There's nothing to do but get stung by jellyfish. Ow. See?
Come inside.
A little bit of rigging and masking done in post-production, which I learned from doing projects over the past year. Once again, emphasizing that working on other projects that are not LEGO SpongeBob, it really does help me improve and bring new skills to the table when animating for these films.
Welcome to the Krusty Towers, where our motto is, we shall never deny a guest, even the most ridiculous request.
Okay, it's time to acknowledge the elephant in the room. The live action footage. So where did I get the idea to implement this into LEGO SpongeBob? Well, let me tell you. Recently, a stop motion animated YouTube series debuted. Rough Danger Dogs by Apartment D Films. What caught my eye about it was the way it navigated both its action and dialogue heavy script. There was a lot of live action puppetry where the characters are being lifted by hand in real time. Using real time footage whenever possible was a very ingenious way to mitigate the production costs. But watching Rough Danger Dogs really made me think, oh wow, this is brilliant. How can I integrate this into Brick Bob Films? Because Brick Bob Films is a very dialogue heavy show. So definitely using the live action real-time puppetry footage and incorporating it into the show, I think give the show more life and makes it feel less dead in those really dialogue heavy sequences. Of course, I can't use it for every scene, and I'm still playing around with it, but so far for this episode, I've really enjoyed it, and I'm already filming another LEGO SpongeBob episode, and I'm liking how it looks so far.
Fine. Let's go, Patrick.
Yeah, this is one of the only shots where you can physically see it on camera. Of course, this is something I would never do in a really serious original animated film, but I feel like for this show, I think it's okay. Granted, I don't know how often I'm going to do it. I do use this later in the episode for an action sequence, but anyway, you gotta try things and get out of your comfort zone, get feedback, and see what works and see what doesn't. At the end of the day, these are just YouTube videos. So I say it's relatively a safe place to try new things and see what works.
Why is your suitcase full of rocks?
Well, I don't tell you how to live your life.
Well, here's your room.
So like I said before, prior to filming this episode, I ordered a whole bunch of Lego bricks directly from their website because, and I talked about this in my update video on my other channel, for the past few years when I've been making Brick Bob Films videos, the only spare colored Lego bricks that I had were tan, gray, red, and black. And yeah, it's such a weird, inappropriate color scheme for what the show is. So in reviving this series, I was like, nah, we gotta have some more bright, colorful, SpongeBob-y colors. And using the beige and the light brown and the green for Patrick's room, it's just, yeah, color and lighting is so important when conveying what the show is, and I really like how it turned out.
I need a vacation. I'm overworked. And what better place to relax than Krusty Towers, where we shall never deny a guest even the most ridiculous request.
So before I began filming this episode, there was a point where I was considering not doing the real-time live-action footage because it introduced a little technicality which is admittedly annoying to work with. All of this live action footage is shot directly within my animation program. However, when you're switching back and forth between photography and video, you're going to run into some issues. I'm about to get pretty technical, so if you aren't able to keep up, it's okay. Don't worry. When filming the stop motion segments, which is really photography, I have my shutter speed set to 1 second. That means that the lens shutter is opening up for 1 second to allow light into the sensor of the camera, and then closing, and then you have a picture. However, there is also the aperture, and during filming of this episode, I was playing around with a really wide aperture. When you have a really wide aperture, you are going to be letting a lot of light into the camera sensor, and you're also going to get a lot of blur in the background and a lot of focus on your subject. This is often used in cinematography when filming live action movies because it has a very cinematic look. However, I also am practicing filming with a very small aperture. This lets way less light into the camera sensor. However, it does increase the depth of field, which means more of the background and foreground are getting within focus. In this episode, I didn't really notice until I was more than halfway through filming whether I really enjoyed the amount of blur in the background. I'm still figuring it out. But where the issue starts to come in is when you're filming a scene in stop motion animation and then you're going to switch to filming live action, now you have to take into account the shutter speed. So if I am filming live action footage at 24 frames per second or 30 frames per second, I'm going to need to have my shutter speed set to a 50th of a second. I think that's what it is. So because the shutter speed is way faster than when I'm filming photography or stop motion, there's not nearly as much opportunity for light to hit my sensor, which means the footage is already going to be way darker. So I have to tinker the ISO of the camera, the ISO being how much artificial light is being applied to the footage. For those of you who don't do photography, the more ISO you add to the footage while filming, the more noise or fuzziness you'll get on the footage as a result. So usually you want to be filming with as little ISO as possible. So to put this as simply as possible, whenever you're filming, you're always going to be juggling aperture with ISO with shutter speed, those three things. But when you're filming live action video, you have to readjust everything to suit live action video as opposed to photography. So pretty much every single time I'm filming a scene and then I switch to doing live action video footage, I have to adjust those values a bit, and it's just an extra layer of work. But by the time I was done doing this project, I really wasn't minding it that much, but it was a hurdle to overcome. And I would like to mention that all of these things that I just talked about can be influenced or changed depending on what lens you're filming with. Personally, I would like to try filming with different lenses down the road for my projects to get different looks. However, often lenses can be just as, if not more, expensive than the camera itself, so that's a little ways down the road. So because my animation goes through a whole post-production process before being published to YouTube, I do have an opportunity to adjust the lighting and coloring for each individual shot to try and make them more cohesive. Like, let's say the raw footage for one scene and then the jump cut to the next scene look completely different lighting wise. I am able to tone them down and kind of make them look more look-alike. But my rule of thumb, at least for the type of filmmaking that I do, is if I am unsure what kind of lighting I want to go for, I usually add a little bit more exposure or extra light onto my footage while shooting than having it too dark. Because what I always say is it is way easier to darken something artificially than light it artificially. Like I said, with the ISO, adding artificial light, it creates grain on the footage and just it doesn't look very good. So filmmakers are usually trying to keep that as low as possible as is. So that's just a little tip.
Mr. Krabs, that's not really a Krabby Patty with cheese, toenails, and nose hair.
Oh, now I get you, boy. All right, Squidward.
Oh my god. Okay, I don't even want to talk about this right now, but I'm going to be 100% upfront with you guys. So, for filming this scene and making sure I was sufficiently capturing how disgusting this is, because really this is supposed to be a shocking, disgusting moment, I wasn't sure what to do because I'm filming with Legos which don't look gross at all. So when preparing to photograph this disgusting, gross close-up, or gross-up as people call them, I actually got some green old clay and laid it down on the Lego board. And then I have this little machine that like shaves down my fingernails, and I actually did put some of my like fingernail trimmings into the clay, and I also took some of my hair and clipped it off and put it into the clay, and it didn't look as disgusting as I wanted it to. It just looked disturbing, just knowing that it is in fact my hair and fingernails mashed into this clay. So I was just like, I can't put this onto my YouTube channel and still sleep at night. It feels wrong. But eventually what I did was I invested in a new iPad. I really did not want to buy a brand new iPad. I've never wanted to have an iPad or any kind of just tablet lying around because they're very incidental in my opinion. But so far I have really enjoyed using this. It's encouraged me to do and practice more digital 2D art. And I find that for filming these Lego SpongeBob videos, having a way to create a quick 2D visual and composite it directly into the animation is just an absolute lifesaver. When I was a little kid and I was making these Lego SpongeBob videos, I would not know what to do when I needed to have a close-up 2D painting of conveying some information from the episode. So I would usually just take my webcam and photograph the actual SpongeBob show or find some other workaround. But no, having this iPad, absolutely the way to go.
SpongeBob!
I'm sorry, Mr. Krabs. We were all out of cheese.
Hooray!
Some of you have noticed this, but yeah, the Nickelodeon foot is in the background. I just remember seeing that foot like all the time when I was watching Nickelodeon films growing up, so just had to put it in there. It's pretty iconic and Very 90s.
Hello?
SpongeBob!
This is... I don't even have anything to add to this. This is one of my favorite joke in the whole episode. It's so brilliant and shocking. I love it.
No good, Mr. Krabs.
Allow me, boys.
Okay, so a fun little goof right here about Squidward's mom walking is, at first, she's doing the typical Lego walk with her feet, pretty conventional, but actually, while I was filming this, the leg broke off. Like, the plastic just gave out and just the leg snapped off. And I was just like, okay, I've already started filming the shot. What do I do? So I just stuck the wax clay underneath her feet to just hold them together, and then I filmed the rest of her shots on the wax clay, and then as soon as the whole sequence was over, I just threw out the figure. It's sad, but it happens.
We shall never deny a guest, even the most ridiculous request.
Showing off all of the bricks that I ordered from Lego's website, along with some other figures that I had, and foreshadowing some upcoming BrickBob Films videos.
Come on in, the water's fine.
I love that little backflip into a dive thing that SpongeBob does that I did using the stick. I mean, of course I could have done it with stop motion animation, but it just would have taken so much more time. And there's just, I feel like using the clear stick in the live action footage, it does something. It brings out the silliness of the show. And once again, I like to share with my audience that, you know, it's all just pretend. Nothing you're seeing is real. This is all just me playing with toys, but it's fun and it's wonderful and people watch it. Don't lose that inner child. Oh boy, the collapse of the Krusty Krab. Okay, so how did I make the Krusty Towers collapse? Well, let me show you. That was the wrong direction. Ladies and gentlemen, behold the power of my adjustable height desk, which I just bought for $600. I want to do a video talking about my animation setup sometimes, and that does include my adjustable height desk. It was very expensive, but so far I have had an incredible experience with it. It has been such a huge quality of life purchase. And I think that this is going to pay itself off very quick. I am able to raise and lower my desk in very small increments, and then I went through the footage, deleted the frames that I didn't need because the Krusty Krab was going down really, really slowly, which is a testament to how versatile this desk is, but still, just, it was a fun little experiment where I was like, okay, I have this resource, just gonna use it.
Pack your bags, boys. You're going to medical school.
Hooray!
Oh boy.
And the episode's over! There's some jerk talking at the ending. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching this video. This is my second time filming a director's commentary, but I have had so much fun doing it. Please don't forget to drop a like down below, and please check out my socials that are all in the description. I do want to do more personality-driven content like this, talking about animation and going into my projects in depth, but it's also just so much fun to share it all with you guys. Have yourself a fantastic day, and I'll see you next time.